Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming this morning, this rainy morning. I mean, we can say this is a news in Malaga. We have today with us Nacho Calles, or Ignacio Calles, better said. His background is endless. It took me like 10 minutes to try to put all the companies he's been involved with. I think it's better he explains a little bit what he's been doing.
Sadly, that only means that I'm really old, because it's normally that I have been everywhere. Just to summarize a little bit, I'm a telecommunication engineer. I'm a technician. I program, I code. I come from a strong technical background, but I like to say that that's an illness I'm solving. I'm not really positive with my colleagues of the engineers. I think it's important in the area we are working in to know technology, to be comfortable with technology, but that's a small part of the whole picture. There are many other things important: business, relationship, view, strategy, and sometimes my colleagues of technology tend to think that this is just about technology, which I strongly disagree. We can talk about it if you're interested. So I have been in my early working days CIO, CTO, responsible for some finance, the former Banco Central Hispano. Now it's inside of Banco Santander. I've been in the printing industry, in the media industry, as responsible of technology, putting together facilities for the first digital edition of the newspaper. Previously, the prototyping of the newspapers was done by hand. So the first Mac rooms with all the journalists creating the newspaper online in the digital side a long time ago. Then I've been general manager of Nokia in Spain. And then I jumped for in a more entrepreneur and business side. I have found some companies, one with Yastel, which is a Spanish telco operator for multi-point video and conferencing services for corporations. So strong IT infrastructure behind that. I launched a mobile apps developer company. I raised 3.6 million euros with just a PowerPoint. In the times it was possible to do so. So I found the company, I launched the company, and sold the company, and that was.
You sold the company
Yeah.
to Telefónica?
No. Telefónica was not. Actually, we can get in more detail. We that because it's interesting in the learning for people like you that are launching companies. We had the company sold for a big corporation called Everis.
Okay.
Now it belongs to NTT.com. So we have the agreement. We were in the morning waiting for the lawyers to sign, and with the check, we have an agreement that they will buy 50% of the company in that moment, and then we will develop the company with their support, and they will end up buying the other 50% of the company once we have grown. And the deal fall apart because one shareholder, one minority shareholder, decided that he wanted to become rich in that moment. He said, okay, this huge company is buying us, so I'm making myself difficult. So I forced them to buy my small share for bigger money and so it was a disagreement. The whole deal fell apart, and we managed to put that guy out of the company and then sell the company 6 months later to a different acquirer, not for the original one, because the big ones, they don't want to buy companies with problems with the shareholders. That's, for example, is from my point of view, a big learning for people like you. They are doing the relationship among shareholders, how important they are, and how important it is to have everything agreed and signed and organized in a proper way. Because after 3 years developing the company, after successfully negotiating the sale of the company, in the morning you were going to sell the company, you find out that one of the shareholders was with a different moral principles than the rest of us. So that's it's a way to a difficult way to learn things. So I have a background on that and building technology-based companies. I am a professor in the university, in the IE, Instituto de Empresa. It's a business university in Spain, an international, one of the leading 5-6 business universities in the world. I'm professor in the Valley and I'm mentoring here. I own a company, it's called Omnibus, and besides the academic activity, what I do is I advise to big corporations in digital transformation, which is a very general statement. And I have done for big corporations, which are the ones that is difficult for them to transform. And it's not only a vision problem. Sometimes it's a change management problem, how to force a big corporation to change. I have done work in Iberia, the Spanish Airlines, transforming all the website or the mobile application and all the technical infrastructure to be able to deliver what is needed. I work a lot with financial institutions. One big client of mine is Banco de Santander. I have worked for El Corte Inglés, for Caixa, for Ticketmaster, for these kind of companies. What I do in that is, besides the consultancy, I participate. We have an Omni Ventures site. We take small shares or we participate in some of the companies we see in these accelerator programs. We have an Omni Experience. We have a strong group of people devoted to user experience, design, digital design. We understand that today the design of a digital product is sometimes as important or even more important than the technology solution you've got. So it's at the same level. So we have a very strong presence in that design. And we have what we call Omni Factory, which is developers, technicians that are able to execute the products or the ideas that we're putting in our clients' face. And I have been collaborating with Bolt. I've been in touch with previous companies. I'm still helping some of the companies that, for a number of reasons, we have more things in common or more market communication. And I was sharing with Rafa that we are closing a deal with a previous company that was here to deliver the service to a very big corporation, and that's going pretty smooth. And nothing. I love the sea, like Rafa Aguado. I'm not as a good surfer as you are.
That's not true.
But I like to get wet and to jump into the sea. I love to come to be around here in the south. And this is not only to talk about myself, but I think it's a deeper lesson saying that is I like to enjoy what I do. I think work is just a percentage of my life. It's mixed with my private life, and whatever you do, be sure you enjoy what you do. You are happy. You are active, and you feel excited about what you are doing. Otherwise, it's not going to be successful. It took me many years to learn that. In my early stage, I've been a corporation rat. I was working for Nokia and for other big companies like HP, EDS. I was vice president in Europe for that company. I spent my time in flying, in traveling, in meetings and all that, and I wasn't that successful in my business because I was not completely happy. Once you manage to balance the professional activities with your personal activities, my advice is everything's going to go smoother and you're going to be much happier. So that's a little bit my background. I'm happy to get into more detail in whatever you are interested in. I think we're going to have face-to-face meeting with each of you and to know. I already have some suggestions and connections with some of the companies that Rafa mentioned to me. So we will see later on. And I don't know what more relevance.
Oh, he's spending some time with us, which is quite difficult. I mean, he's a happy father of 18 months daughter that is like right now she's asking where is Dad? I mean, she has this moment that Dad is everyone in the world, like Superman and everything. So he took an early train here, and he's going to be spending some hours, I think, until 3 o'clock. So I have already taken some of his time. The idea is that you spend some quality time with him, like no stress about it, and he's also been mentoring also some other startups related to Israel, right?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
You were dealing with them, so he knows.
The Hive is the name of the
accelerator, yeah, in Tel Aviv.
The Hive, H-I-V-E.
Hive, yeah. So he knows about trying to help you out in these very early moments.
Okay, but about my daughter, which is again talking about myself, but just to explain my concerns about my daughter right now is how early is she gonna learn to code, and that's what I was saying. Okay, I like to teach my wife about that. Is when she's gonna be 5, I'm gonna make sure she programs and she's able to run a marathon. So because that's the activities I like to do, but I really believe that although I was criticizing the technical expertise and so on, I think coding is going to be the next English or the next. It's already probably, and it's amazing. There are many. I have investigated, and there are many amazing startups devoted to train technically small kids, and there are some. I don't know if you have heard about Osmo. Have you seen the Osmo? It's a game with an iPad. It's pretty amazing. They put a mirror in the camera of the iPad, and they develop games that are able to see what the kid is doing with pieces and with things. So the kid is playing with pieces, and there are some interactions in the iPad at the same time. Pretty simple solution. It's just a mirror, put it in the camera of the iPad, so it's able to have augmented reality towards what the kid is doing. So they're able to train things and words and physics, and very, very interesting. So any personal situation, it's an excuse to develop further in what you're interested in.
Yeah, I think one of his assets is that he's in touch with really huge corporations. I mean, and these things may take time or maybe quite quick also to do something. The company he was mentioning, it was from the second batch here. And it's a company that he's been trying to help without anything in the background. But he's into this chemistry, and sometimes it just gives you a bolt, and then suddenly chemistry occurs a bit.
Well, that company you mentioned, they and I don't have a problem sharing, and they are pretty straightforward people and making a really honest and lean. It's a sort of fintech, a solution about finance and service for corporation, and I'm helping them get a deal with this big company. In the initial discussions, I was going to have a share in their company, and we haven't even signed anything because I get along well with the people there, so I'm helping because it's interesting.
I happened to meet the CEO of this company about 3-4 weeks ago, and he was saying, "We're going to be giving equity. What do you think about it?" It's like, of course. I mean, he's giving you all the access, so why not? I mean,
that I'm really excited to do the deal. I think it's really, for me, it's really interesting if that happens. And having big clients when the difference. Rafa spends his time with startups and with exciting companies, and you can see how much hair he's had. And I spend my time with big corporations, and you can see how.
Thank you.
You need to be really patient with big companies.
Yeah, thank you. So he's going to be spending some quality time with you, and expect some chemistry to happen all around. He's a nice friend. Due to him, I know Juan, and you know Juan because of him. So he was the one who put me in contact.
Juan Leal.
Juan Leal is collaborating with us at least a day a week. So they're sitting with them with the UX, all the experience and everything.
Very good guy for UX.
Yeah, he's a perfect guy for you guys. Yeah, there are some deals that they used to say when the investor come, they used to say, is Juan involved somehow? And that helps also to get the deal. So,
well, I really believe that there are many subjects we can cover, but the design, the right now there is a lot of it's getting sexy, and the issue of user interface, user experience, and all that, which is good and bad at the same time, because I think it's good because it's relevant, it's extremely important to design, and I have seen creepy solutions to succeed because the design was really good, so it's very attractive, and the other way around, really strong solution, and I can share some names with you. I'm involved in one project. They have a very interesting solution for netting invoices, that is with Everis, and the solution is very good. It's about big data. It has sense economically, but they haven't been able to develop a well-designed user interface and application and website and all that, and they are not getting clients. It's really difficult to use the tool and whatever. So the design is important. I'm saying that is good and bad news. Good because I think it's important, but bad news because everybody's talking about it, and there is a lot of misunderstanding of what the difference between visual design, user interface, user experience, what that means, what the context of somebody using a design a digital solution is affecting how you should design the thing. But that's a subject I'm dedicating lately a lot of time, and I will be happy to share.
Okay, just to remind you also that this week we have 3 other meetings. One is with Elena Alfaro. She's the CEO of BBVA Data. So they are interested into the big data. That is going to be tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we'll have big data. Another key guy is the CTO of the company that Morten was here for. That will be very interesting for you to have a look. And then the next, on Friday, we have a successful entrepreneur also, which is in the area. He set up a few companies and he's able to spend some time with you. Next week, a full week is going to be dedicated to SEO. We will have 2 persons from Latin America and Germany, which will remain here for the full week. So you will have a lot of lectures related to SEO and optimization of your website. Okay, just for you to bear in mind. Okay.
And a couple of comments, because I was thinking what I will like to hear, or what kind of advice I would like to have you on the other side, and why I may be for any value to any of your business. And frankly saying, I don't have many arguments to justify. The strongest one is, and I will relate with some comment. The strongest was because I have been there. I have done it before. It's out of experience. I'm not more intelligent than any of you. I don't have any different capabilities. I don't have a bigger brain or anything that makes me, if I would be in your position, I would have exactly the same strugglings and insecurities and concerns and projections that you are having. But I'm older and I have been there. I have been doing that, and most important, many times without success. That's really important. That's where you learn things. That's what I was sharing with a friend of mine the other day. If you analyze your life, everything good that I have comes from my failures. That's where I have learned. That's where I choose to change. When I decided to change my work, when I decided to change my couple, when I decided to change my business, and confronting those failures probably is not a right word. That's where I begin to do good things. And the other thought that I was thinking, in my lectures in the university, I always say, don't believe in all the hype. This sector, the same I was saying for the UX, is a very sexy sector. Everything's happening around technology, but there is a lot of bullshit, and so be aware of that. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna try not to tell you any of those bullshit and super hype and everything's gonna change and this and that. I was attending a meeting from Google, and it came some senior vice president of Google Europe, an Italian guy, and we were all expecting some vision about the metrics or the behavioral marketing and the content. And he came and said, well, what I have to say, or my lessons are common sense works. So if you don't understand what you're doing, or you don't understand something, it's because it doesn't work, it fails. Bullshit doesn't work anymore. That was in the previous slide when I raised 3.6 million with a PowerPoint. So now it's common sense, is no bullshitting, and find a real business as soon as possible. And if somebody is telling you something you don't understand, most probably he doesn't understand what he's explaining to you, or is not clear at all, because you are intelligent enough to understand almost anything that is not quantum mechanics. So my message is common sense, and be sure that you understand what you're doing.
Okay. So thank you, and we'll start the face-to-face. I think it's going to be much better for you. So thank you, Nacho.
It's a pleasure. We go to the meeting room, or?
Yeah, I think